Hey guys, XJ9 here, and today I'm going to talk about just games in general, mostly games I've played. So let's just talk about first off the game Runescape. So Runescape's a game I've enjoyed mostly. I think the most fun I've ever had in Runescape was 2016 to 2019. Just because the game took a lot of skill. Are you gonna hit? You couldn't depend on you stunning a boss like Telos at a specific time. Uh, but then they made like things like Zoroark buff randomly, AOD prayer, which helped a little bit, not a lot much, but it was mostly the Zoroark buff, then the whole Great Ricochet thing. And I think when the game really went downhill was God Version 3 actually. I think making these weapons that were just absolute god tier in DPS was the biggest mistake. I actually think I'm not even trying to like throw shade, guys, or like shit talk, but I actually really think Mod Ramen was probably the biggest reason RuneScape failed, RuneScape 3, because he was responsible for the Staff of Armadyl being as broken as it was. I remember looking at uh, Twitch streams about talking about balance, and I think Sponge used to say the Staff of Armadyl was like Sponge talked to Ramen, and Ramen was saying, "Oh, he likes how the Staff of Armadyl is balanced. Oh, we can." Like it, but they never did anything, and the only time they did is when they like nerfed it a lot, but it was still extremely good. Uh, what else? In retrospect, it's kind of funny that when Orion worked on his last boss, which was the Arc Lake War, the Lings weren't actually that good. They were actually pretty unique. I actually think Orion just had a different balance philosophy compared to like Sponge and Ramen, where like the Lang Sword specials, the old one, like where it was just Hurricane and I think was that it? You have dual wielding cast Hurricane, and I honestly think that was it, was it not? And then just tier 95 damage? I think so. So like that's like literally like an item that fits like the criteria of like a 2016 2018 era of power creep where it's not too crazy, it's pretty unique, it adds versatility. And then in comparison, it's like again, Sapphire Armor absolutely broken. Animate Dead with Animate Dead was broken, but if Crypt Bloom didn't exist, I don't think it would be as strong. But yeah, Crypt Bloom absolutely broken armor. And they made the Zuck sword, and the Zuck sword never actually got any spotlight at all. It was like never good. The only time it was ever good, or like good at anything, I guess, but it's super niche and whatever. It was stalling HP at Zamorak for like the first phase because on the first before he does the first heed my call, people purposely delay it so he sends you into Infernus so that he does the same attacks. Zamorak's a disaster of a boss. But yeah, like that's extremely niche to the point I don't think people even bother doing it anymore. Uh, it was just never a good weapon. But so like even the Zuck sword, I would say it was actually a pretty balanced weapon, as in it fit that 2016 2018 era. Like the only thing I could maybe see of it is like if it came out back in 2016 2018 was maybe like a little bit of a nerf on the special damage or something. Maybe nerf the single target a little bit, make it like nerf the single target by like 30%, give it like 20 to 30% of the single target damage as an AoE, like eruption, a volcanic eruption around the target or something. Maybe buffs a melee user with something if they're in there. Like you could have done something like that. Uh, yeah, I stopped playing the game at that point because then they buffed drop rates because RS Guy did not get a drop of a Zuck piece in like 3 kills or something like that. And then they made Zamorak, and Zamorak's Bolas Guardian was mega broken. And that's another one of those items. Again, what I'm talking about here is like these key items that like pretty much broke the game. Bolas Guardian mega broken. The when arrows, full arrows, all existed, but it was essentially a case of why use ranged when animate dead exists with magic, so no one bothered. The only time people bothered was when animate dead was nerfed, and the Fractus have armor was nerfed. I think both at the same time, and then they started using not Dracolich, but just range in general, because well, Animate Dead isn't as good anymore, and Staff Armor isn't as broken anymore with infinite healing. So let's go and use range now at Zamorak. And then they made Dracolich armor, and then that kind of absolutely broke the game. That came out when I was playing the game though. But before, sorry, before we talk about Dracula's armor. Let's talk about the vestment robes. Vestment robes again. They're pretty crazy because like they're really good, but again, the one thing I don't like about them design wise is that they give a bunch of combat utility to melee that it should probably have in the first place. Uh, like such as when you ult, you get adrenaline back. When you ult and that effect's on, you get instant burst of adrenaline. Those effects should have honestly already been built in melee. I would have literally, I think if I were to rework combat, I would move the vestment robe effect and just put it on melee in general, probably. Like for instance, you could have done something such as, let's just say 80% of the effect is, or like 60% of the effect is the base melee kit. The investment robes boost it back to how wearing a vestment robes was before. So like you can choose not to wear it. I just don't like things where you have to wear it, and because like, to me like why wear trim masterwork armor? You know, because if you're wearing trim masterwork armor, your DPS is just garbage. So I just don't like design things like that where like it doesn't feel well thought out. Uh, then we had the only good thing that was released from Zamorak, in my opinion, that was pretty well designed was the Death's Fitness and Sunshine Codex. Because this was the quality of life buff. That was, I think that was more in line of a 2016-2018 reward. But yeah, after Zamorak, what Dracula's Armor came out, yeah, then Dracula's Armor is what broke the game as well. I know Necromancy came out. Necromancy also broke the game because it made AFKing too easy. Everything's so easy. You can mess up and you just heal a lot. You can do mediocre rotations and still have 90% of the damage you could have done. Uh, Not care about positioning. Like the game's literally balanced around right now necromancy and ranged. Like that's literally it. Like no one even uses magic. I think the only people who use magic are the people that macro with like range Dracula switches or whatever. Because yeah, they used to use the fracture stuff armor. I don't like the whole switchscape thing. I'm talking a lot about RuneScape right now. I apologize, but I mean again, overall, I think RuneScape is, like to be flat out honest, I think RuneScape 3 is doomed. Uh, I think the best thing they've done that makes sense are the holiday events, but I have a feeling they're going to take advantage of the holiday events and be like, oh, this is the big content update, but like, not really. It should be expected, and then we should still have like our big combat updates. But it's not just about that. Like, oh look, the not a Contra, yeah, yeah, no, Ambuscat is coming out this year, right? Who's excited about that? You know, not me because I'm not. I don't like the balance state of the game. People look at me like I'm crazy when I say the game's easy. The game was harder back then. Like, how is it not? Like, Blubberfish didn't exist back in the day. You didn't have a 100% hit chance. You didn't have insane damage to skip all the mechanics that nothing even plays. Like, the game lacks dynamicness, and a game like Marvel Rivals kind of like really embraces dynamicness with like all the different scenarios, and like that's something like my brain really craves is situational awareness, situational adapt adaptive. I don't know the word, but you know, just adapting to the situation. Like these bosses, like Zamorak, it's just like you just manipulate the boss how you want, and then you win. Like I don't know, it got really boring. Like I remember when I first went to Zamorak, I'm like, oh, this is pretty fun, but then like it was buggy as hell, which is crazy because I came back a year later. Zamorak had so many bugs, and I'm like, it's crazy they haven't fixed this. I'll always remember that because like to me, the fact that this big boss did not had these very obvious bugs were like, oh, you cast immortality, you died, you can't go into Infernus, you're soft locked out of the fight, and you just lose. You have to leave. It's just like, wow, that wasn't fixed for like a year and a half, I think. And to me, that's just crazy. It's just like no one cares about fixing a boss. What else? Yeah. Again, about the balance state, I don't think they're ever gonna fix anything because again, about the combat achievements coming out this year with not this year, but like I guess this next month or the on March, February or March. The fact that they didn't say, oh, if we lower power creep, we'll make the time requirement more lenient. No, instead they said, oh, when we make more power creep, yes, it'll be easier, but we'll make new bosses based around the new power creep. And it's just like power creep should never be that insane. It really shouldn't. These developers who go into the office and think they have the best idea by just making DPS go up by 200k in one update. I don't know what they're on, because I remember people used to freak out over going from 200k DPM to like 205k. People used to freak out over that, and it used to be very noticeable too, because back in the day, getting these certain thresholds of like skipping things or like making things a little bit easier was really hard to do, because you had to like be on top of it and not get like hit by like Solak's bombs on part two. If you did, cast a defensive, you would get screwed over. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about RuneScape. Like even the combat achievements, I don't like. I don't even feel like doing it. I'm being honest. Like I'm so subscribed. I still like log in and do the stupid keys, but it's just like that's all I've done. Like the only reason I even went back to RuneScape was just to show a friend some quests on an alt account. I have all 120 by the way in Trim Comp, and like I showed all the side stories and everything. And I did that in a year. And yeah, besides that, all I did was get 4K Zamorak, do like 20 hours of the Vorkath and the Sanctum boss. Not 20 hours of Sanctum, like whatever, like 2 weeks of Sanctum or something. But then like doing the Sanctum was really like eye opening moment where like wow, Necromancy is just so broken. The fact that everyone has such high KC and like can do this boss is like a bad to me, because it's just like there's no like there's so little room to show that you're better than someone. I know I might sound like a narcissist, but like a thing that makes people want to play games is like, so for instance, like say Marvel Rivals is, oh, I like appearing better than people. I like a rating, and when you play a game like RuneScape, it's like anyone can do this. Like literally, you the only thing that separates the top 1% is literally them using exploits such as like stalling and dummies and stuff. And Jax even makes fun of this, and like Artist Guy is like, oh, like he like the fact that Artist Guy works on Artistry team also makes me go, yeah, they're not gonna fix this. They're not gonna fix the game, because he's not gonna make Dracula get nerfed or uh, Necromancy. But yeah, the fact that they just haven't nerfed anything, and the game's just so easy. And like it's kind of cringe. I'll be honest, when people go, "Oh, they're top PVMer for one shotting the Arctic Lake Core or Gowers and 2 boss." It's just like, really? It's just a macro they use, or oh, look at me, I have my fingers on my keyboard and I just do this center input and they all die with stalling. It's just like, yeah, but I'm so overall. I think this is about old school RuneScape. I don't care about old school RuneScape. That community, I don't like them. But yeah, our street community and like this, the devs. I don't think it's going anywhere. No combat beta. No nerfs. They're gonna just give more power creep. Next tier 95 dual wield range is either gonna be utter dog water or the next best thing, because that's the only thing they know how to do at JetX games. So that's that. Let's talk about the next game. So Brighter Shores. Brighter Shores, pretty fun game. Dice style. The problem with that game, in my opinion, is it needs a better system. Like I talked about in other video, of like doing things. So like, oh, I need potions. I need food to kill monsters. Like it has a big gameplay loop problem. Besides that, it's really cute. It's really charming. Like again, it is early access and or like beta, whatever. I, I will definitely keep my eye on it. I'm mostly just AFK. I'm like literally like burnt out the game, because the game is always just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, and no real skill expression to be shown. So yeah, it's kind of stinky. It's just a no life expression game where like these people, like it's kind of crazy the amount of people like playing this game for like 18, 16 hours a day on Brighter Shores, and they're like, bro, it doesn't mean you're good. Like they literally think they're gonna be the next Zezima. Like they think in 5 years, when like Brighter Shores is done, they're gonna be the next Zezima. Like what? Zezima didn't know life. That's the thing that people don't understand either. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about that. But what else? Let's talk about Marvel Rivals. So Marvel Rivals. game I started playing 4 or 5 days ago. Very fun game. I played it because someone I watch shout out to Iron King. I watched Iron King. He plays Dragon Ball: The Breakers. He was streaming Marvel Rivals with his friends, and I was just watching it. I'm like, this looks pretty interesting. Pretty cool effects. Pretty good graphics. Wow, destructible terrain. Wow, you just get up in people's faces. Oh, you can play back and play a little bit slower. Oh, big ultimates. Oh, good clarity. Uh, and oh, everything's available. The MTX is all optional. Like you can play Marvel Rivals and completely ignore the battle pass, completely ignore everything like to do with like MTX, and just play the game, and that's it. Like you can just play the game. You can become the best player in the whole world, and you don't need to buy a battle pass or oh, you need to buy this next champion. So we'll see how that goes because I feel like the game wasn't expected to get so much success, especially so early. Because you can queue for a game and enter a practice mode game, right? But like you get games like literally in 1 second, not even every single time. So I feel like I really hope this game doesn't get tainted by some overlords who go like, yeah, we're gonna monetize this. Oh, we're gonna say that because Trump's president, are running out of money, and we need to start costing money, or yes, start charging money to buy the new heroes. Oh, we're gonna have to up the price of skins by $3 each. We're like I. I'm really curious if the game will be infected by that stuff or not. Because right now, I think the game is great. I have a lot of fun on the game. I honestly, it's actually really intense. Like that's a game that I don't think a RuneScape player could ever be good at because RuneScape players, the only thing they're good at is no lifing, doing the same movements over and over, macros, or listening to what the game says to do. Like click on the square that's on the floor that says go here during phase two. Like like oh, click here for the Zuck shield, and this is the safe spot. It's like I don't like those are the people that always go, oh, put third party in the game, it won't ruin the game. Like yeah, and it's just funny because I get shit talked. I like it when I get shit talked in like the RS3 people because they think I'm like bad at games when I'm like and like I always feel like they think I'm jealous or something because I just make fun of it how like the game is literally just eat blubberfish, spam blood reaver or something, and just DPS the boss. And meanwhile, like a game like Marvel Rivals, it's literally like what I've always wanted in a game. Like I've loved destructible terrain ever since like an old 2003 game like Red Faction 2 or Gears of War 1 and 2 and 3 to an extent. Uh, what else? This dynamicness is such a rare thing in this game because you usually only see dynamicness in in multiplayer, sure, but like and yes, it is a multiplayer game. But what I mean is like you can play a tank and you can choose either front line or oh I'm gonna die the back line, and their map is so big and like you can climb up walls and like get a flank. Like it's kind of crazy. Like the game is like very sandboxy, but at the same time has like some really strict rules and like it makes sure that the game accelerates and doesn't ever like reach a standstill. It's very cool. Highly recommend playing it. And again, it's free too. Like that's why it's kind of crazy. These people who spend like 60, $100 on games nowadays, and they spend $80 to get like a golden skin of a character that they might have not have gotten through like a gotcha system. It's just mad. Like Marvel Rivals is a really big breath of fresh air. I often kind of wish I checked out the game earlier because I didn't play in season 0 or anything like that. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But eh, again, how I even found out, I knew about the game. It's just I didn't watch anyone until I saw Iron King. I don't even know anything really about Marvel. Like, oh, I know who Iron Man is. He's just some guy who's rich and has a robot suit, right? Wow. I saw a Doctor Strange movie. He's just some magician guy, and he does stuff with portals. Like that's literally the extent of like my knowledge on characters. So yeah, really big breath of fresh air. So yeah, you should definitely try out that game. And I guess one of the last things, or I'm not sure if this is the last thing, but yeah, League of Legends. League of Legends. I'll be honest. The biggest thing that puts me off about League of Legends nowadays is the fact that I think they still allow third party things such as jungle timers in the game, such as like individual camps, like the small camp timers. I don't like that stuff. I think it's cheating. I also don't. What else? I don't know. Like I'll be honest. A lot of like I have like a memory bank in my head, right? And I have like a memory bank of things like honestly tilt the fuck out of me. I'm sorry about my French. Like I'll be honest, the whole jungle timer thing, I find a lot of it I find cringe. Like for instance, even like back in the like, oh, man, sorry, I get a little bit emotional when I talk about League because bro, I just don't like some of the decisions they did. But gameplay wise, so let's just say you do your jungle clear blue and red and stuff, and you go and play the game. And let's say your blue's gonna come up, but oh, the enemy jungle is like 3-0 and you're only 1-1, and they have a mythic item on you, right? And it's kind of cringe when like they can just see that the camp was gone at some point, like not when it even died, just that it's gone, and then they get the information. I'm not sure if they would get the information of when it exactly would respawn, but I know that they get an indicator uh, that oh, their jungle camp's about to spawn. It turns yellow, like oh, it's gonna spawn in like 15 or 30 seconds, right? And then you immediately like they're doing something else, right? They're like you see them like going mid, but then you see them like oh, wait, the game told me that they're blue spawning, so let me go there. And I just fucking cringe that shit. I'm sorry, I don't know. I know I'm speaking French right now, like excuse my French, but it tilts me because it's not their decision. The game told them to do it. You know, it's like oh the sparkly effect. Oh, pull the lever. Like that shit is cringe because I know it's not them. It's the fucking game telling them. I'm like oh well the game told them so here they are. So I guess I lose my blue because my mid lane decided to not dampen the wave at all and just have a crash and it's just a fucking awful experience with that shit. I hate the assisted. Like, I think these tool assisted games and these developers who like don't like they. I don't know. I feel like games are like so many games are starting to be made for like legitimate like handicap players. And what I mean by handicap is like they like whether like not that like they're actually handicapped, but the fact that they want that assistance of I want the game to tell me to do something, and it's just kind of cringe. Like, hey, I can understand normal games, I can understand it in like an ARAM, but like when they do this shit in ranked, it's just kind of cringe. Because I can understand normal games, like, hey, maybe you can learn the timings better that way. Okay, that's fine. Oh, in practice, so you can learn the timing. I just don't like these. Like, I'm not joking. We're entering the age of AI right now, and I'm the type of person that hates assisted shit. I really do, and like everyone just seems to be embracing it, and they don't realize that they don't realize that it's gonna replace them and stuff. I think it's kind of crazy. Um, yeah. Besides the gameplay shit, that's like honestly kind of cringe. What else? The community is definitely different. So in Marvel Rivals, there's voice chat, and I've yet to see like anyone like absolutely blow up. I've yet to see someone like purposely like eat like Jeff Ult, which like can eat 5 of your own teammates and jump off the map and kill everyone. I've yet to see that in like what my 80 or 60 games I've played. I've yet to see someone say like sexist or homophobic remarks or like just like gross statements. I've seen the banter of like, "Oh, are we just gonna let them get the cart? Okay, dude." Yeah, like okay, like it's a little bit of banter. We lost to 2-0 or 0-2. People get pissed. Okay, they didn't say dog. They didn't say, oh, I'm gonna take it on my team in grief. They were still trying to win. Shit happens. And meanwhile, in League, it's like you have these people who don't have voice chat, and they're just like typing the most rancid shit you have ever seen on the internet, and it's literally a community difference. I feel like Marvel is full of people that are either kids, like because they're dads, or dads. I think the teenagers watching Marvel, I think is not as big because they haven't grown yet. Like, maybe there's probably obviously there's some teenagers, but I feel like Marvel's audience is definitely a lot of adults in like their 30s, 40s, even 50s, and kids because even hey, my grandpa got me into Marvel, right? Like someone probably has had that happen. So it's kind of crazy when people in like I hate when I go like go to the toxic League of Legends Reddit or something, and people go, League was always toxic. Welcome to the internet, buddy. Like, who says that? I'm sorry, you have to be a degenerate to actually say that. You probably hanged out in degenerate places, honestly, to be saying that shit. Like, again, like what someone says of someone else usually speaks levels of what the type of person they are, and it doesn't apply to me, okay? Because look at me, I'm being respectful. I'm just talking about it. I'm sitting here giving you my time, putting myself out here. Um, because again, I've looked at some old clips of me on YouTube. Like if you Google like XJ9 YouTube, League of Legends, gameplay, like Zach or something. People weren't actually really that toxic. Like I'll be honest, I look at some of the things I typed and I'm like, bro, that's not something I would type. And it was mostly me just trying to find out who I was, which is always fine. It's always fine to find out who you are. As like, what do you like or dislike? Because like it's natural that when you first talk to people or even a different group of people, you might try to just blend in and be like, say similar things that they would say that you normally would. Because I look at it, I'm like, I understand what was going through my head when I was typing certain things. Like I typed some shit, I'm like, wow, actually, you were kind of cringe. Like I actually typed XD back in the day, guys. I'm like, I understand why I did though, right? And that's always fine. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the biggest reason League of Legends doesn't have voice chat is mostly community, but also I feel like not having voice chat is a reason that the community is so toxic, which is kind of funny. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the nature of like the people who, the nature, right? Of the games that like Dota and League, like maybe it's just the type of people those games attract. I don't know. Besides that, I mean, have I really played anything else? Not really. Marvel Rivals is really like the only game I've really played that I've actually been enjoying. League of Legends is the biggest reason. It's just like again, these people in like, hey, I stream Marvel Rivals, guys, okay, and I have a good time. I think I have a good personality. I'm funny. I admit when I do something wrong, so like you can like, oh, okay, so he died here. Oh, he got one, but he could have got the other person. Oh, I usually say what I did wrong, and I think it's educational. But the problem is that like these people, like I'm sorry, these people nowadays with like League, they still like all they do is go to my stream and go, hey, dude, where's League? And it's just kind of crazy. Like they ask that. Like I don't see like Tyler one. Hey, he can play World of Warcraft and no one gives a shit. He can play any game he wants and no one gives a shit. Uh, I don't know. Freaking Dyrus can play any game he wants and no one gives a shit. Scarra doesn't even play League anymore. Just playing like Teamfight Tactics and something else. No one gives a shit. Anyway, that's good. That's great. But it's kind of weird. Like I've never seen anyone again treat me like the way that people treat me. Like I've never seen people go like Iron Cane. He's playing Marvel Rivals. I didn't see anyone go, "Hey, Iron Cane, where's Breakers?" I've never seen that. You know, and it's just kind of crazy. It's that like people just expect only League from me, and it's mostly a consequence of just being banned for like literally 9 or 10 years, and pretty much being isolated, and not being able to post on any Reddit, and just the people who are able to say shit about you are the ones given a platform, and that's just how it goes. Like it's like the darkness enveloping the light, and like who has been banned for 9 years from social media with no contact, no able, not the ability. Like it's like having like again like me. I played League before. I was known for League, but I'm banned on site. I couldn't even stream the game because I was banned off the Twitch. So like I couldn't even go and play another game. Like I remember I was playing RuneScape. I had like 100 viewers. People just watching me play RuneScape. Hey, maybe I would have went off and played something else. Oh, I got banned. Oh, there goes my platform. Oh, I tried to do YouTube streaming. No one cared because, well, I didn't have really any subscribers. I didn't really advertised by YouTube. That's why you see so many people nowadays, on top of streaming on Twitch or YouTube, they advertise their own stuff in case they get banned. Which I don't think is as prominent. I think the only people that really do that, honestly, are like scummy people. You would know if you know. Uh, yeah, that was just really shitty. Because again, who could you say that has happened to? I don't know. Because literally, my popularity literally spanned in the period of like 7 or 8 months, and that was it. It was over, just like that. And I got banned right. I think right as pretty much streaming and League boomed, which was really shitty. And then yeah, my point is that when I got allowed to play the game, well, everyone's like stuck in a limbo where they just think, oh, he's gonna play League, right? Like they don't go, oh, this has happened to XJ9. I should just accept that. They don't do that. I was gonna say something else that was pretty important, but I can't remember it, which is a bummer. I like swinging like this, by the way. I think it's pretty fun. Um, what can we talk about? I don't know. Honestly, I honestly think that might be it. But there was definitely something else with something to do with League of Legends, guys. I don't know. Maybe I honestly kind of just want to forget about it because if I finish the video, then I remember it, I get pissed off, and I don't like getting pissed off. So yeah, I guess that's it. I just kind of like talking, you know. But yeah, overall, I just wish more people Oh, I remember. Sorry, guys. So the one other thing I was gonna talk about was I remember I got my Twitch back, but I didn't get the okay from Riot that it was okay to play the game, right? So I literally waited like I think a year for a response, and then I got a response, and then look, I'm playing League, and those people that were like, oh, I enjoy it when I remember what these people said. They're like, oh, I'm gonna miss these small streams. Oh, I'm gonna miss. Oh, when you become big, I hope you don't forget me, bro. Those people left. They don't care. Those people again, like, and it's kind of like traumatizing. Like I have been traumatized so much to the point that like I'm so jaded and like I just expect bad things from people. I expect no one to care, you know? And what else are we talking about right now, guys? Like, my mind just kind of spirals when we talk about this shit. um, this is why I shouldn't get sidetracked and actually finish my thought, by the way. Oh, well, guys, this is a really funny video. It's just me and you just staring at each other now. Hmm. What the hell? I don't remember what I'm talking about, guys. Guys, I'm turning to Joe Biden. But I don't know. That's a symptom of Oh yeah, it's about like being traumatized or something, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. So like again, like I remember these statements, so it's very traumatizing to me. As in when but it's kind of is, but kind of isn't. So they say that then okay, they're gone. Oh, sorry, then they're gone. But in this day and age of the internet, I kind of expect it, but still, it's just like I couldn't imagine being that person. Like I couldn't imagine like me being me. Let me go to some guy and be like, say some shit like, let's just say I wasn't banned and I don't know what was his name. Let's just say like I just think it's crazy to be like to act like you care about someone so much, saying I'm gonna miss you small streams, and then just fucking vanish. I think that's fucking crazy. And then hey, maybe he's come to my stream, but all he's ever said was, "Oh, where's Lee?" I don't know, guys. I guess that's really it. What do you think, doggy? Yep, that dog's pissed. Yeah. I get the moral of the story, guys, is that I think games hold your hand too much. Gaming community difference, Marvel Rivals. I've not had a toxic experience in the game yet, not tainted by the League of Legends people. And yeah, RuneScape's dead. Bye.